Hello, everybody. This is Catholic Dad, episode number 183. We forgot how to be human. So I have a little mini farm. Along the way, I've had a couple steer, I've had a bunch of goats, chickens, ducks, rabbits, and so on and so forth. And these, you know, when you look at your industrial birds, when you look at the chickens and the ducks, somewhere along the way, the maternal instinct of the chickens and ducks have been bred out of them, meaning they don't really want to care for their eggs anymore. When an animal wants to care for its eggs, it's called broody. Like it gets kind of a little bit persnickety, but it wants to sit on the nest, and it doesn't want to. It wants to be left alone, and it wants to sit there, and it just wants to warm the eggs. That's all it wants to do, and that's the maternal instinct within ducks and chickens. And the ducks are the worst of them all. They've been industrialized so much that all the maternal instinct has been bred out of them. Like they essentially just lay their eggs in the middle of a field and leave them, and they don't care about them anymore. And what we did was we figured it out. We took the duck eggs and we put them underneath a broody hen, a hen that wants to care for eggs, and then we put them under the broody hen, and then she hatched out some ducklings. And it's really quite funny to watch ducklings imprint upon a broody hen or on a hen, but they love each other nonetheless. And the funny part is, like when the ducklings want to jump in the water, the hen gets all really mad at them. Like you could see, she's like, "Don't go in there, children," you know. And so, anyway, somewhere along the lines, that's happened to humans as well. You know, if you ask young women in the world today, there's a bunch of polls on this, and you can look it up, that the majority of women don't want to have any family. They don't want any children, and it's a rare bird. It's a very rare bird out there that wants to have a large family. And so the question is, what happened to human beings that made them not want to be human anymore? Much like the birds. Like in the birds, it's pretty clear they overbred them, and they didn't discriminate against maternal and non-maternal eggs, and all the gene lines got through. But with humans, we haven't been bred out. There's no way. So something has happened, and I have a sneaky suspicion that I know what it is. That we've been hormonally suppressing women since the 1960s, essentially taking out their female cycle for birth control and contraceptive purposes. And now the female cycle is very important. It's part of their nature. And you get this big follicle stimulating hormone spike, which actually creates lots of ovum within the ovaries. And then the woman looks towards the man and starts binding towards the man. And when you get a big luteinizing hormone spike, you get ovulation. And this is essentially, you know, how children are made. And so if you take out the FSH spike and you take out the luteinizing hormone spike, you take out the hormonal inclination of the woman to bind to the man. The other thing that you do is the man who responds to the signal sent by the woman, the LH spike actually changes the testosterone levels in the man, and he actually gets spikes in testosterone at the same point in time, which is the male hormone, and that's how nature works. And, you know, so what happens? What happens if you take away the FSH and the luteinizing, where the woman binds to the man and the man binds to the woman? You're going to suppress the maternal instinct of the woman. And she's not going to want to raise families anymore, and she's not going to want to have any children, much like the chickens and the ducks in the barnyard. But I can tell you what, the most important animal in the barnyard, the most valuable hen you can get, or duck you can get, is the broody one. The one that actually wants to care for the nest, the one that wants to bring up the next generation, because that's how winning is done. That's how farmers make money, and that's how people eat, and, you know, so on and so forth. Same thing with humans, by the way. And so this is just something to think about. If we've been suppressing the women's inclinations through hormones with the birth control pill and these hormonally laced IUDs and so on and so forth for so long, perhaps we took away part of their femininity, part of their nature, part of their reason for existence. And if we took that away, then what's man's purpose on the planet? Man's purpose is actually to care and love and provide for her as she exercises her maternal instinct. And I would say, you know, if you look at what's happened to the world since the 1960s, and the birth control pill and the suppression of ovulation, the breakup of the family, breakup of the children, all the moral depravity that's come into our society in the last 60 years or whatever it is, it's really quite obvious. And I don't think anybody can make an argument that we have a more solid moral foundation today than we did in the 1950s. I just don't think it's not a good argument to have. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So this isn't something to criticize women who contracept. This is actually words to encourage them that perhaps they're suppressing part of their nature, perhaps they're suppressing part of their femininity, something that's a great gift from God, and that if they actually want to do an experiment with themselves, perhaps try to not use birth control and see how you change, because you might actually change and your inclinations might change and the people around you might change. Your husband may treat you differently and so on and so forth. And then suddenly your life may be more family focused. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying I'm right on this one, by the way, but I do know if you want to destroy the barnyard, you take away the drive of the chickens and the ducks to have babies. You just do. That's how you no longer have a future generation. And if I were the devil and I wanted to destroy humanity, what I would do is take away the maternal instinct of the women, because they are the culture, they're the future, they're the nurturers, they're the ones that essentially bind everybody together. They're the matriarchs, right? And so this is Catholic Dad making you think about it. Don't be a chicken, don't be a duck, be human. Allow your nature to like shine forth, and then perhaps see where it gets you, because young women, it might actually change your mind about the purpose of the world, and young men, it may change your mind about the purpose of the world. Like, you might actually look at women differently if they're not just you know, unadulterated pleasure focuses, or women, you might look at that act of being with a man as something differently if it's not just unadulterated pleasure focus. You know, it's not carnal, it's holy. Like, literally in the sacramental act of marriage, that's the holiest you'll ever be in your entire life, because you create life. And so this is Catholic Dad making you think about it. Please like or subscribe. Share with your friends if you like the contents of these videos. And yeah, God bless, live a sacramental life, and get to Mass.